We can all now breathe in and then breathe out. Inhale, exhale. We have a lot to discuss on this post game, but the Buffalo Bandits are 8-2. Welcome back to Banditland Boulevard. Trevor Hauer, one of your co-hosts, and across from me via the Zoom platform, we got Tony LaMonica, aka Boxhead98TL. 13-12 final score in Week 12 in overtime. Actually, this
hmm
is my first live overtime victory I've ever watched, so that was awesome. I've been to three overtime games. They've lost twice. I believe one was against Rochester and one was against Boston. So
hmm
they go into overtime against Philly, and I'm there, and they get the W. And if you see the virtual background, if you're watching on YouTube, it's the man Dane Smith, of course, for obvious reasons.
Yes, sir. And boy, oh boy, it was like a heart attack waiting to happen. It was back and forth the entire game. Not a good start at first for the boys in the orange and black, but again, they buckled down in the second half. They mattered where it most counted. They got the goals that they needed, and boy, oh boy, did we have an outstanding game to watch. I mean, obviously, both goaltenders stood on their heads. It was just whoever the better team was that night. And obviously, it was the Buffalo Bandits to remain on top of the Eastern Division, winning that game in overtime and really standing out like they should be. And now they are 8-2.
And we have a lot to discuss. I don't even know which way or which little direction we can start here with, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with let's go with the stuff we didn't like first, and then we'll go into stuff that we really did like. First of all, the luck. We had zero luck. I mean, we lost to Hoka in the third quarter with an
Mm-hmm.
injury. Like I remember
Lower
seeing
body.
on Facebook that he had a lower body injury, but he was keeping a towel over his face so the fans wouldn't see that it was him or something like that. I don't even know
That
what
was him.
the whole story was with that. Ian McKay went down during the game, but he came back. Dane Smith, we'll get into what happened with him, got punched in the face. He
Mm-hmm.
obviously came back in that game, scored the overtime winner, and then I mean we lost Brandon Robinson for the duration of a quarter, and we went into this game without Josh Byrne, who by the way is on the injury reserve right now. I
Yep.
don't know how he goes from doubtful to injury reserve. Maybe it's just like an NHL thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's like an NHL IR where it's like you're on the injury reserve for like a week and then you're taken off, and it's not like the NFL where you have to miss 4 games automatically, which I really hope is true. But the luck just wasn't on our side, and the injury bug just kept biting us at the wrong time. But it leads into a good thing because the Bandits obviously came to they obviously came to play, and they're very great at that depth position.
Yes, they are. And boy, oh boy, did we also call the players that needed to step up as well. Like Brad McCauley, what an outstanding game he had last night, especially with having 4 goals and 5 assists to contribute 9 total points for the boys in the orange and black. And boy, did he step up in that position to score for a left-hander too, as well, to take the role of Josh Burns' spot. And again, I think we both called it like it was, is that when you get the opportunities to make a name for yourself, Brad McCauley is one of those guys who really stepped up and made a name for himself that night. So again, afterwards, when we met up after he saw me, he said, "Hey, I'm glad to be on the show." And I told him, see what I told you guys? When you step up and take your chances, this is it. And
Yep.
now he's very pleased with what he has done. And it's not over yet. This is where like this is where the backup of the depth has to come into play. And boy, oh boy, they did not disappoint one bit.
And you know what? It's funny because before the Halifax home game, New
Mhm.
Year's Eve, my brother who works at the vitamin shop
Yep.
in Cheektowaga, and
Mhm.
Josh Byrne walked in with Chris Kluche. My brother had a conversation with Josh Byrne. They were talking about which supplements to buy. He bought something from my brother. After their
Mm.
conversation, he goes in and scores 7 goals. Then Brad McCulley talks to us after a big win over Rochester and
Yep.
scores what, 5 goals
Something around there, yes.
around that. It's the effect of us, dude, talking to them. They like that we watch. They like the motivation. They love the fans, and they're gonna give the fans what they want to see. I just thought that was a great little tidbit to throw out there. But I feel like I should be
Mhm.
talking to more Bandit players more often. If whatever I say to them, if I have even a small conversation with them, or somebody in my family does, obviously, good things tend to happen. I don't think that's just a coincidence.
Mhm.
But maybe it is. I'm not sure. But we love when the Bandit players step up and play. Uh, things that we didn't like, we know who's on the other side in the Philadelphia Wings face-off circle. We don't need to talk about how great Trevor Baptiste is because we know how good Trevor Baptiste is. But 8 for 28 on face-offs,
Mm.
not going to cut. I know Max Adler's a beast, but he was struggling hard.
Yeah, Max was not ready for Trevor last night, especially with how basically Trevor knew exactly how to position himself, about the body language at the faceoff dot, and he's like a stud in the dot in the circle. And again, to beat the best, you have to beat the best. And Adler did not have his number, but in the end, taking 8 of 20, what was it? 8 of 28,
8 of 28. Yep.
Again, that's like 33% face-offs right there, almost. Right. Again, you got to just kind of commend the fact that he fought just to get that. So again, we can't be too ashamed of the situation with Max's face-off performance, but again,
28.5%
to win the game is to have the face-offs. But again, sometimes we haven't been on the positive side and still won the game. So again, we got to just be blessed with the fact that he just didn't quit at the face-off dot at all.
And one more absolute negative that's beyond Bandits' control or the Philadelphia Wings' control. I wrote it down on Facebook. I'm just trying to find it one more time. But my God, do the referees absolutely freaking suck?
I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, there was a lot of explanations. I've asked people before about that Bryce Sweeting delay a game or dead ball foul. Let me correct myself.
Bunch of friggin' morons, bro.
I've heard word that no matter the situation, if they're going to get the ball, you can't touch the player, but that's false because they have to initially touch it first. The opponents or our guys have to touch it first before the game starts all over again.
But I don't understand. I mean,
it just was so weird.
The Philly player picked up the ball. Bryce Sweeting tapped him on the glove, and we got a dead ball foul.
The Philadelphia player did not touch the ball at all, and Sweeting went right for the player. And I don't know if that would be considered interference or.
But the ball was right there. Foul. I mean, the ball was right in front of him.
So it's just unbelievable how they got to mix it up and change the plan of action, which technically speaking, they should follow it by the book.
And I got a couple of guys on Facebook on the Bandits Mafia chat or the Facebook group. I'm not going to name drop them, but they're just looking for controversy. I put something out for fun, and they always have something to argue with me with. But you get those with everybody. But, I mean, defending these referees last night and their stupidity, I mean, you want to make this a legitimate league. You need to hire officials that don't have cataracts, that don't weigh 415 pounds, that are actually in shape, and that can see the game. I mean, I'm going to some specific examples here if I can find it, because I did write it down. How about, let's start off with the obvious one, the punch to Dane Smith's jaw.
Only a 2-minute rough. That
right
minor. There is terrible. I mean, a lot of on a specific angle where people see our angle we saw when he got hit, it looked like he really slugged him. But when we saw the replay again, I mean, it was the butt end of the stick possible, not his glove that actually caught him. That's considered spearing to the face, and you don't go for the face.
It's a suspension.
That's a suspension or an automatic game misconduct. But again, they only gave him 2 minutes for roughing, and I'm going to myself, I'm like, when you go for the head on any player, that's dangerous. You can intent to injure. That's terrible. And again, it should have been a 5 in a game.
Intent to injure our MVP. Our MVP.
Yeah, I mean, granted, he did, in a way, it looked like he did sell it out, and I'm not trying to sound like or feel the impact of what happened, but the fact is that he did. Obviously, if anyone gets punched in the face, they're either going to go down or they're going to stand up or be on their whatever.
But if it was the butt end, I mean, dude,
they got to call it. They have to call it. I mean, they called a penalty regardless. I give them that, but they got to call the right penalty for it. I mean, they obviously have instant replay. They obviously see what's going on. And if you're not sure, go to your senior ref that's right there in the box and tell them, what do you think about the situation? Like, we have a refs meeting right there and then, and just to decide what type of penalty it is. You can't just go, I'm only going to give him a 2 rough because he took a shot to the face. That's considered fighting. That's
and it's a tie game. And it's a tie game in the fourth quarter. And I'm afraid to throw a 5 because the game's tied.
No, you got to make the right call.
It's a complete joke. It's a
It is a
complete
joke.
joke, and it's nice to know that the referees don't have they don't have our backs at all. But if we went after
No.
Philadelphia's best player like
Oh,
Joe
I'm sure we would have
Resetarits
been called in a
or
heartbeat.
Matt Rambo, even Steve Priolo, somebody would have been thrown out of the game. And that goes without
Absolutely. I
saying. The
completely
other
agree.
one that equally pissed me off was the
Mm.
Brandon Robinson roughing penalty in the,
Oh, well,
I believe it was the
that was a
second quarter.
hold. It was a hold. They were calling it on a holding, but again, it
No,
on
but it
the
was
instant
the,
replay shows.
yeah. But I thought
It
it was the
shows.
one after the play was over, and it was him and some other player, and they were pushing and
Oh,
shoving.
you're talking about that play. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
think
then
that was another thing too. Yeah,
Robinson
he
got
said
punched
that
in the
one too.
face
Yep.
twice. He got punched
Yep.
twice, and then he came back with one.
He
And then
retaliated.
he got the penalty, and then the Wings player waved to him, got into
Yeah,
his face,
it
waved to
was
him,
Tutton. It
yeah,
was number 12
and
Tutton.
pointed to the penalty box. That in itself is unsportsmanlike conduct.
True, but they
No
don't call
call.
that stuff. No call. And then I guess apparently the Wings bench was trying to say about Bryce Sweeting when he went by that he was running his mouth to him. Like, listen, if we can't touch you, we can obviously run our mouths to you. So again, that's another thing
Also,
too.
the illegal cross check. The illegal cross check that was an absolute freaking sellout dive in the first quarter.
Yes.
That was a horrible call too, because John Tavares knows that he can't talk to the refs or he'll get a 10-minute misconduct for a bench
Of
minor.
course. It's like we
So
can't say
did
nothing.
you see his hands? He's like he's doing this to signal a dive. I'm
Yeah.
like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I went to game 1 of the 2019 NLL finals, and I thought for sure that was going to be the worst officiated game in Bandits history. This
Mhm.
takes the damn cake, and it's only getting worse. This
Yeah.
Philadelphia Wings, I mean, the refs have to clean it up. If we did half that stuff to Philly,
Mhm.
we already lost like 5 of our guys in the game anyway, but we would have been so shorthanded because we would have gotten 5 in a game here, 5 in a game there. 2 minutes for looking at the ref the wrong way. 2
That
minutes
could
for
be so.
I'm like, dude, you can't even like look at them weird. You'll get a 2-minute
Nope.
penalty.
No, sometimes you got to just bite your lip and just keep playing the game. But unfortunately, due to the circumstances, if you're going to call bad penalties on them and give them the chance to like take a massive lead, which they looked like they did in the first quarter, I was going, wow, this is not like the Bandits to like give up so many goals in one quarter alone, especially in the beginning. That's what scared me. And it's
Right.
like, what do we exactly do here? I mean, you can't talk back. You can't defend yourself. What else can you do? Well, like what more can you possibly ask the guys to do? Just keep on playing and just try your best not to get a penalty or take anything stupid. And really, honestly, they didn't take any stupid. I mean, there was maybe 1 or 2 stupid penalties out of the 8 minutes that we had correctly, but again, the other couple that we're like looking at going, we have something to say about those because those are a little bit miscued calls, or you got to really buckle down and call it down fair and square 50-50 at least.
I was up in session 317. You don't know how many swear words came out of my mouth last night.
Oh, I can hear them. Believe me.
Oh my God. We had the a-hole chants going, the BS chants, the ref you suck chants.
Oh, everything was bad.
I was yelling, calling the referee a fat ass from up there. I mean, it was just, I was losing my mind. And my voice still isn't at 100% because I was yelling so much. And obviously the Dane Smith overtime goal, which we'll get into in a little bit, really just took the cake and shot out my voice completely. But we got to talk about something else negative and controversial. I put this out on Facebook. I don't know how you feel about this.
No, please. That's why we're here. We're talking about it.
Matthew Vince is showing his age. That is the controversy that I have. He's a great goaltender. He would be one of the greatest to ever play the game. But some of the fans here in Bandits Mafia, who I absolutely adore, I mean, they just refuse to take the fan glasses off and realize, dude, a lot of those goals were very soft. Over the shoulder Vince is what the guy sitting next to me called a guy who's from Rochester was sitting next to us, and he's a Nighthawks fan and just came down to watch this game.
Sure.
And he's like, dude, there's no place like Banditland. I wanted to watch a game here. I was like, dude, respect.
Respect.
He said, dude, I watched Matt Vince play since like 2008 or 2009 with the Nighthawks. And every time he gets burned over the shoulder. But some of those goals last night, I was like kicking the seat in front of me. I'm like, you have to make that save. I didn't want to spark any controversy, but I said, can Matt Vince please make a save? And he did step up in the fourth quarter. But, I mean, I just think it's time to start at least scouting for a new full-time goaltender. The guy's 40 years old. He still wants to win a championship, but some of those goals, especially the 9th goal that Philly scored, or the 2 behind the backs back-to-back goals that he scored, I'm like, come on, dude, lock it down.
Yeah, Matt Vince was definitely struggling in the first half alone, and we all saw that. You may be right. Is it could be the age kicking in now, and it might be high time to hang him up. But again,
But the
when
breakaway save, my God.
that was a big pick me up, especially in the second half when he did that. But let me answer that to you about saying like maybe it's his age, maybe it's something about over the shoulder. Yeah, he has every goaltender will have that one little weakness that always will get to him.
Zach
It's either
Higgins
over the
5-hole.
shoulder,
Zach Higgins
five
5-hole.
hole,
Yep.
Zach Higgins 5-hole again. But you got to also, you got to also applaud how Higgins kept the Wings in the game, especially how
he was an
just
absolute
consistently
monster.
standing it out of his mind. But again, bounces coming our way and bounces going their way. It was.
Do you know?
Like I said,
do you know how many?
Do
you know how many kick saves? Like almost like he did a full-on split to make saves. I
Yeah.
applaud Zach Higgins for how well he played last night, especially in that first half. Third quarter kind of fell apart a little bit. We took the lead going up 10-9, then we took the 12-11 lead, and those were the only two leads we had. Well, 1-0. We had the 1-0 lead, then we trailed at halftime, then we took the 10-9 lead, then the 12-11 lead. But I just wanted to say I think it might be time to at least start thinking about getting maybe drafting a new franchise goaltender.
Well, you got Devlin Shanahan ready to go. I mean, he is the next. I think the next step up for the guys. For the Buffalo Bandits. I mean, have we really seen this kid play? Not really. We've only seen him play maybe one game in so many little minutes. And
in garbage
again,
time, he looked good. He looked good in garbage time. Yeah.
So, right. So you got to give people chances to prove themselves. So this might be a time where if Vince says, hey, I need a game's rest or I need a week's rest just to get back, so be it. Let Devlin play. Let's see what we can do with the new kid. And like we do with their depth situation where people are injured, the next guy steps up. Same goes for Matt Vince. It's the same thing. But again, Matt Vince has proven time and time again, he's got that little bit of energy or that little bit of spark left in him to say, I got your backs, guys. Just allow me to, adjust the situation. Let me fix the problem, and I will make the crucial saves that I need to help you guys win this game. And
absolutely.
He did. He still finds a way to do so.
The
and
save on the B-way changed the momentum of the game.
Definitely was like I said, maybe that built up his confidence back up and getting save after save after save. And he was really like, he locked it down. And that's what we love about Matt Vince. He knows how to lock it down.
Yep. And also, Tony, no, you're good. Why don't we start talking about the things that we loved about this
yeah,
game?
please.
First of
Ian
all,
McKay, your boy that you picked.
Dude.
Let's go with Ian McKay. He's found a rhythm. But
in what category? Pick your category. I mean, dude, the dude's throwing body checks like freaking crazy.
He timed that perfectly behind the net. Me and my buddy Joe went nuts when he made that hit.
Dude, Brandon Robinson's throwing body checks. Ian McKay's throwing checks. Brad McCauley's throwing checks. We have a strong team. This team has toughness.
Adam Bomberry with the hit on Baptiste. That was sick, too.
Oh, dude.
He got away. I have to admit, he got away with that one because he didn't even have the ball. And he cracked him.
And
he cracked him good.
Steve Priola got away with one. I think it was Dane Smith taking the shot. It was like a 2-on-2 going the other way. Dane Smith hit the post, but freaking Steve Priola absolutely bodied the defenseman in front of him that didn't even get called interference.
Yes. Thank you for not calling that, too. So we got our ways.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they didn't give Steve Priola a 5 in a game for interference. How about you?
They would have probably gave him 2 if that was the consideration, but not a 5.
But Tony, we're the team that wears orange and black. We're the devil. We're the Antichrist to the referees.
I know. I mean, it's Halloween for us all the time. It's always something evil or something kind of lurking, and yet we still find a way to win. And that's all that matters is that we win the games. It's we're making a statement for all of us in the National Lacrosse League. But again, this is the time where what do we do? Do we rest our guys because we're possible playoff contenders again, or do we just keep the foot on the gas and try to see what we can do? Right. I mean, we have a lot of tough games coming up still. It's not over yet, folks. We have a long way to go.
Not even close.
Long way to go. And you guys can't, we say go by game by game. That's basically what you got to do. Yep. Don't worry about what's going on in the future or towards the end of the season. Worry about the game in hand. We have Halifax on March 3rd first. And then they come to Buffalo.
It's a home and home series.
Yep. It's a home and home series. So again, Let's worry about the team we're going to be facing next, technically speaking. So it's Halifax is on our minds right now.
And can we also please talk about another huge positive? And that
Mm-hmm.
huge positive was the depth scoring. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this team, Brad McCauley drawing first blood. We had no Dalton Silver in this game. So sorry,
No,
Jackson,
we
if
did
you're
not.
listening, but where the hell was he? I had no
I
idea
don't
he
know.
was hurt. I'm guessing he got hurt in practice or something. We're also missing Ethan O'Connor. He didn't play yesterday either. Carter McKenzie had
Mm-hmm.
to step up. Dude, not even the depth scoring, but the depth on D. Kellen
Yeah.
LeClaire, Carter McKenzie, a lot of these other players that have come through the organization and play. Adam Bomberry throwing hits all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When we get healthy, this team is absolutely lethal. And
It
that's
could
something that
be.
we can build on. And I know that we had to win in overtime, and that's my next positive. Just Dane
Yes.
Smith being Dane Smith, dude. Like I will tell you up in 317, when they scored, when the Philadelphia Wings tied it at 12, you could hear a pin drop. Everywhere in the arena,
Mm-hmm.
you can hear a pin drop. And we also, can I, I'll get into that after, but uh,
Sure.
12-12. And we're like, what's going on here? And what felt like an eternity was the last minute and 30 seconds. The Bandits had the possession. They they almost scored with Ian McKay in front of the net, or Brad McCauley in front of the net, a sick feed from McKay.
Mm-hmm.
McCauley shot it, and I think it grazed off the post, and the goaltender covered it. Then they come back down, less than 20 seconds to go. They take a shot with 3 seconds. I believe that was Reza Terrets, and that ball
Mm-hmm.
hit Vince in the blocker and almost trickled in behind him. We're going
Yeah,
to
that's
overtime.
scary stuff.
We go to overtime, and we we got the ball first. Didn't do anything with it. I think the pass got intercepted. They took it
Mm-hmm.
down. Defense locked it down. Dane Smith, I think, put the spin. What was it? No, he put the roll dodge and the spin dodge on two
Mm-hmm.
different guys.
Yes.
Got it right, doing his best Mark Stainhouse impression and cutting right to the front of the net. The jump shot, and boom, the game was over. The place went
He went
absolutely.
5-0 on. He went 5-0 on Higgins at the game winner.
I mean, Zach Higgins 5-hole, take a shot every single time that happens. But
Mm-hmm.
Dane Smith, man, this guy, ever since that tweet came out from that Nighthawks fan talking about in your face, Dane, your boy Connor Fields is our midseason MVP, and he retweeted and said he can win whatever he wants. I want to win a championship.
That's
He's
right.
been on just this championship in your face type of mentality, and it's really hard to stop, man.
Yeah, Dane Smith is, like I said, he's going to average that 9-10 points a game now. This is his mentality that's telling him to push himself to be this better player. He doesn't care, but like you said, he doesn't care about the MVP again. What he cares about is he wants to win a championship for the city of Buffalo and for his team. And you know what? What better guy you want to go for where he's on pace to probably pass JT in all stats. You got to also look at that too. That's great.
Unreal.
That's great. That's unreal. And what more can you possibly ask from a man who has to be like, I'm your go-to guy that's got to score this game winner. I want the ball. I want to be the hero. And he was the hero of the night on Saturday. So kudos to number 92, especially with scoring that game-winning goal in overtime. And man, you went from dead silence to an uprising roar from the Bandits fans, especially in Banditland.
Now that was the loudest I've ever heard the KeyBank Center go after a Bandits goal since the Nick Weiss goal in Game 1 against the Mammoth.
The Colorado Mammoth, yeah.
That place blew up when that happened, but that was pretty much the same way. It was so loud, it was so fun, such a great game. We're 8-2 now, 13-12 in overtime, beat the Philadelphia Wings.
Yep.
I was gonna ask the question. I don't know if you can verify this, but beforehand,
Sure.
I was thinking about this earlier. Do you remember when a fan, I think this was after the Robinson penalty,
Mm-hmm.
threw something onto the field and Chris Swenson had to go onto the PA and say the Bandits would be assessed a bench minor delay a game.
Yes,
If another fan,
I remember.
can you verify that? I've been hearing on Bandits Mafia that was a Philadelphia Wings fan that threw a bucket hat onto the field.
If that was the case, I honestly I do not know that. If it was a Philly fan, if it was, shame on him.
Yep,
Because that would have cost the team that represented, hosted your opponent team, then you would have cost us a lot of problems. And I'm hoping that security or whoever found out who it was just to kick them out, because we don't tolerate that stuff here.
it's
I'm
a very
sorry,
crappy
but
rule though. Like a Philly fan could just throw something on the field and the Bandits would automatically get a penalty.
Exactly. We can't do we even as us going to another, like say MVP or Blue Cross Arena or wherever we go to. We
Right.
got to show the same respect in a way to the home team as much as we want to. We don't want to see bad things happen to our team. So don't be stupid to throw crap onto the field. You're not only going to cost your own team something, but you're going to cost the hostess team problems if you think you can get away with stuff like that. But again, I really don't know who threw it.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I would love to know who did that though.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, I'm just looking at this score sheet, man, and all I'm
Yeah.
seeing is positivity. Like, you were to tell me that in 2023 we would be playing a game against the Philadelphia Wings without Connor Fields, without Josh Byrne, without Chase Frazier, without Chris Kluche, without
Mm-hmm.
Ethan O'Connor, uh,
Right.
I mean, without Brandon Robinson for a quarter,
Yep.
that we would be even competitive. I would say, dude, you have to be on something if you
Mm.
believe that. But the other huge positive is Johnny T and his halftime, his adjustments in general when he's losing. The
That's right.
reason why we lost to the Mammoth was because of the lack of adjustments in crucial times. Because last year was a completely different team. We had a team that was in your face. We score, we go up, and we hold on to the lead the whole way through. And
That's
then
right.
if we go down, we really don't know how to go back up. That was the
No.
Achilles heel about the team last year. This year, we normally take the 1-0 lead and draw first blood, but we play so much better when we're playing from behind. It's almost like a mission. They got to climb the mountain. They got to go all the way up to the top. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like they want to put on like a storybook finish. I know it's obviously not planned, but this team and their adjustments, it's just absolutely unreal this year.
Yeah, you got to applaud how well they have changed their fast pace, then get super gassed in the second half. Now they're more conservative in the first half, and then they let it all out in the second half, which is more of a game plan that has been working for the last, what is it now, bud? It's been 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Have they changed their theory? They did start off fast and furious, and then it just came down to a point where like they're totally gassed right before the end of the game. But now they're playing more conservative in the first half, and then saying, okay, we got to kind of feel of our opponents about what they're going to exactly do, and now we can change things, and we can and we can strategize a little bit better, and then play a stronger second half to possibly win the game and to come from behind, like you said, and to really go ahead when it matters.
I would love a 60-minute complete game, but if we can't get that, I would rather have you play so much better in the second half than the first half.
Absolutely,
There's a
right where it
reason
counts.
there's a reason why you have two halves in a game, four quarters.
Mm-hmm.
The Bandits' third quarter is the most elite form of lacrosse I've ever seen. First quarter and second quarter. The beginning of the first quarter is usually dynamic. They know how to draw up
Mm-hmm.
a good first possession, and then they kind of fall off a little bit. Second quarter, I don't know what that was yesterday, but it wasn't very good. But that third
Well,
quarter and fourth quarter, they were holding it down, making big saves. So for all you Bandit Mafia fans out there that think,
mm-hmm.
or members of that Facebook group that think I'm the ultimate anti Matt Vince guy over here, you couldn't be more dead wrong. I will applaud him when he plays well, but when he plays poorly, I will tell you when he does.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you all the time that freaking Zach Higgins sucks. And did he look good yesterday? I said he did. He looked amazing yesterday. A lot of those
Mm-hmm.
kick saves and looked like he's going out into full splits. He's making big shoulder saves that went over the top.
Mm-hmm.
For the Bandits' sake, it's hard to beat two teams, being the officials and the Wings, but they got it, and now they're 8-2, and thank God they did, because Toronto, Georgia Swarm. Can we say free Lyle Thompson, please? Free Lyle Thompson. That team is a complete car wreck. It's so
Yeah,
bad. 0-7. I have never seen a team start off that poorly in my entire life. Toronto beat them 16-7,
that is
and
correct.
Rochester was on a bye. So the Bandits winning that game in overtime was huge for the standings. If we lost that game, we would have been in third place in the Eastern Conference.
At the moment, yep. And again, we got to at least applaud the Buffalo Sabres for keeping their average of goals fourth per game, and their average up to 13. But again, we also got to worry about the fact that Toronto has stepped up ever since they've lost to the Bandits as well. And I mean, they got a solid team. They got a solid group,
A
just like
solid
Rochester does.
defense. It's great
Um,
defense that they have.
And also, like with Rochester too, they have a great offensive discipline manner, and defensively they're pretty tough too. But again,
And
it's really
Halifax,
going
don't
to.
sleep on them either.
I wouldn't sleep on Halifax either because of the fact that we've played them already. What is it? One time, I believe.
One time, and we beat them
And we got them two more.
18-13.
Yep, and we got them two more times. So you know that the grain of salt's going to still be there, especially when we go to Halifax on the 3rd of March. But again, we have to also worry about keeping people healthy.
Yeah. And what about the guy in the suit that stands behind the Halifax bench? We know that guy so well, Micah Kersey, and he doesn't back down from a fight at all.
No, he does not.
Nope.
But, no, he does not. And
huge win, though. I mean, this was one of the best Bandit games I've been to in my entire life. I told you before, like, I saw Brendan freaking Tainhouse score in overtime against the Bandits when he played for the Boston Blazers in 2009. I went to another game. It was against Rochester. I think I don't even know who scored. It was probably some guy like Jameson or somebody that scored in overtime against us. And this was the first OT win since Corey Small, or OT home win since Corey Small against Rochester Nighthawks, which was which was before the world shut down. So it's good to see that happen again, because it was so euphoric. The loudness in that building when the Bandits scored that last goal, it was something I really haven't experienced since last June when Nick Weiss picked up the ball. Colorado was on that horrible line change, goes in all alone, scores. That was what it really felt like.
Yeah, especially with how much time was left on the clock, too. If you guys noticed that.
Sub 40 seconds.
It was 51 seconds left of the Tucker Williams, and that's what we all think about the fact that he scored at that moment, and that it was a sign that we were going to win that game. So, again, proud of Nick Weiss, and especially proud of Dane Smith, especially this past Saturday, to really step up and be the leader like he's supposed to be, and really showing the light to these guys, especially with depth and taking charge. And again, I see nothing but good things happening to the Buffalo Bandits in the future, especially with the games coming up and then with the postseason as well. But again, like I said, got to take one game at a time.
And so, Tony, who would be your player of the game?
Boy, you know what? I'm going to stick with who I said that needed to step up, and that is taking the role of an important pair of shoes to fill, and that is number 10, Brad McCauley. Yep. McCauley to me has really shown he can also be your go-to scorer. And again, he posted great numbers, just 1 point shy from what Dane Smith did. And again, having that trust and that getting that playing time that he well deserved. And you know what? I'm very proud of Brad and how his game has changed ever since, being so committed to this team, doing the roles that he's been asked to do by JT. And now he's getting now the spotlight's on him, and he's getting that. He's like a stud now. He's like the stud that you want to have on the team. And my guy is Brad McCauley.
And I don't want to be boring. So we all know that Dane Smith was the first star of the game. We already gave him a lot of praise. My player of the game is number 11, Johnny who?
Johnny Tavares.
Johnny Tavares, because this dude has proven to me that he has the ability to use halftime adjustments to his factor, to his, his role used to be just take the early lead, hold on to it. That's it. You can't give up the lead or else the game's over. He's turned into the comeback kid. And you could tell that he's on a mission to win that first title, or as a head coach. So he's won 4 as a player, and he was great in all 4 of those years. He's got to win one as a head coach. And I think he has a definite shot this year, an absolute attempt this year. So Johnny T is my player of the game, even though he was wearing a suit and not a jersey last night. So definitely my player of the game.
With the way we were losing players, I thought he was going to go rush to the back, get his 11 jersey, and start playing all over again. That
dude, Daner in his post-game press conference was talking about how Johnny T still runs drills with him in practice. He still has the ability to go out and play. I mean, he's a freaking beast. He is a beast mode. But Tony, you remember before last episode, we did get a new sponsor.
Yes, we did.
Who do we have to give a shout out to before we wrap this up?
Yes, we will. We'd like to thank the sponsorship of Mitchell's Tavern up in Tonawanda. Like I said, folks, great place, great service, and amazing people that will serve you the beers and the beef on wicks and the best food in town, I think, in Tonawanda. So go and check it out. It's at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York.
And tell them that Trevor Hauer and Tony LaMonica from Banditland Boulevard sent you there.
Absolutely.
They will hook
I'm
you up.
guarantee you guys, you're not going to be disappointed with that place. That place has been really well with us. Where I'm like a usual guy because after like softball or whatever we go, like even bowling, I go over there and I get a quick bite to eat and I head on home. And the food's never disappointing.
Never disappoint you. I know what else never disappoints: the Bandits winning on their home turf in overtime to go 8-2 on the season. Final
That's
score
right.
from the KeyBank Center, aka Banditland, 13-12 in favor of the Bandits in overtime. Tony, we got one more thing to say, and what would that be?
Yeah, we actually do, but we also want to say, guys, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, we want to say thank you for those who are following and also who are following on our Spotify account is spotify.fm.
That's right.
Look it up, Banditland Boulevard, folks. And that is exactly what we want to keep in hearing. Good things, positive stuff about our boys in the orange and black. And of course, Trevor, sign us off with what you would like to say.
One more thing to say, 3 words. Ready? Let's
Yes, sir.
go
Go
Bandits.
Bandits.
Let's freaking
Let's go.
Let's go.